Have you ever bought survival gear you've never actually used? Do you know which wild edibles you should never eat, even if you're starving? Have you stockpiled survival food that you've never tasted? These are just a tiny few of the lethal prepping mistakes you're probably making right now and don't even know it. Mistakes that will come back and bite you when SHTF. What some folks don't realize is that they've severely underprepared and have huge holes in their survival plans. All thanks to conventional prepping wisdom, you know, the kind you find on most survival blogs and forums. Many of the things out there are flat out wrong, and I'm going to prove it to you in this short presentation. Now, I'm not talking about basic survival advice. Anyone can tell you to store food, water, and make a quick bug-out plan. I'm talking about things that go beyond the basics, that could mean the difference between life and death when the big one hits. If you're like me when I started out, the more you read, the more you probably feel confused about what works and what doesn't. Unsure about which disaster to prepare for. Scared that the more you know, the less prepared you feel. Anxious about how much you'll end up spending on preps. Maybe you don't even know where to start. It's not your fault, though. That's just how blogs work. They publish random articles, making it hard for you to apply the information in order. And if you turn to government websites, such as FEMA's, for help, you're stunned to see they give horrible advice. Store at least a 3-day supply of non-perishable food? Are you kidding me? It won't last a solid snowstorm, let alone a more serious disaster such as martial law, an EMP, or even an economic collapse. Even the German government asks its people to have a 10-day stockpile as part of their civil defense plan. That's 3 times more than what the U.S. government advises, yet still not enough in my humble opinion. So who am I to criticize the government? My name is Dan F. Sullivan, owner and editor-in-chief of one of the fastest-growing survival blogs, survivalsullivan.com. Spare just a few minutes of your time, and I'll not only tell you about the biggest mistakes preppers make, besides the ones I've just mentioned, but also how to sidestep all of them and make a sound, bulletproof survival plan to keep your loved ones safe no matter what. Because no matter how many articles you read, doing random things is not the best way to prep. It's better than nothing, sure, but not nearly enough. Not when entire economies such as those of Greece and Venezuela have collapsed and caused people to do desperate things to survive. Not when we're sitting on a bubble. Not when there are more racial tensions than ever before. I know exactly where you're at right now. I know how you feel, because I've been there before myself. I kept reading and reading, buying things every now and then, but I didn't feel right. And it wasn't because I was lacking or that I wasn't serious about prepping. The reason you may be failing at prepping is because of this weird concept called a feedback loop. See, when you learn most things, you typically get some sort of feedback, cause and effect. You shoot a gun and you instantly know whether it's a hit or a miss. You can screw up as many times as you want because you get instant feedback, so you can continue to practice until you become good at it. Now, when you build a bug-out bag or set up a stockpile, or when you read about OPSEC and things like that, you don't get any feedback at all. You don't know whether you've done a good job or a bad job. You don't know if your bag will hold up, if your gear will work, or whether your neighbors already know about your stockpile. You only get to see what works when disaster actually strikes. See the problem? In the meantime, all you can do is pray and hope. Hope that your gear won't fail you. Hope that you'll live to see your spouse and kids unharmed and that you'll have basic necessities for the long, hard years following a total collapse. So you're forced to get most things right the first time. Someone once said, "You don't know what you don't know." And I couldn't agree more. If you knew all the mistakes you're making right now, you'd start all the way from scratch and do it totally differently. But you probably don't feel like doing that because it takes a special type of tinfoiler. Someone like me who's willing to read everything, go through all the BS, make all the mistakes, and eventually find things that do work. Whether you prepare alone or with loved ones, you're looking at thousands of hours of reading, talking to other preppers, trial and error, and throwing money out the window. Definitely something you can't afford to waste. Not when you have a job to go to and a family to take care of and a limited budget. Over the years, I talked with a lot of people. Many of them were failing because they were overwhelmed, frightened, and confused. Others were applying what they read, but still felt and were severely underprepared. As they poured their hearts out to me, I felt sorry for them, but I also began to feel angry. Angry because of all of the fake survival experts who never hiked a day in their lives. Angry at all the deadly information the internet is spreading like wildfire. And angry at the fact that many preppers are a lot less prepared than some of the sheeple who will probably take advantage of them post-collapse, steal their stockpile, or worse. So this is what the rest of this presentation is all about. To reveal these blunders to you, show you how to fix them, help you make a survival plan that actually works, and start seeing some real progress. Let's take EMPs. Physicist Pete Riley of Predictive Science Inc., who, quoted by NASA, says there's a 12% chance that a major solar storm will hit us within a decade. The solution is to keep whatever electronics you can in a Faraday cage. This is where it all gets confusing, because the web is full of silly ideas. For example, microwaves in cars are touted as being such cages, but the reality is they just won't work. If you can ring your cell phone inside the microwave, if you can turn the radio on inside the car, then they are not Faraday cages, and electronics inside will get fried. So what does work? Putting each device inside 3 to 5 alternating layers of cardboard and aluminum foil, and, if you can, everything inside a thick ammo box. And make sure that the cardboard is in contact with both the box and your devices. Are you learning something? Good, because I have a few more mistakes I need to warn you about. Storing 3 months worth of food but only a couple of weeks worth of water, for instance. This one is kind of funny, because the survival rule of threes teaches us that the human body can survive 3 weeks without food but only 3 days without water. Those people will probably never get to eat their stockpile, because their bodies will dehydrate and perish long before that. If you have too much food or water, or if you don't have the tools and gear to survive a total collapse, then I urge you to take a long, hard look at your stockpile. See what's missing and stop throwing money out the window. Speaking of water, one deadly mistake I see over and over again is people storing it in milk jugs and fruit juice bottles. Though milk jugs look the same as water jugs, they are biodegradable, so they will start to leak after a while. Plus, no matter how well you clean them, there's always the risk of growing bacteria inside these containers, which could land you in a world of trouble post-collapse when doctors and hospitals may not be available. Of course, the mother of all survival mistakes is not practicing your skills. You can have all the tools, gear, guns, and a 5-year stockpile, and still be unable to out-survive a guy with nothing more than a knife and a lot of willpower. How do I know all of this? Because I talk with my readers a lot, and it gives me unique insight into their lives. Sure, they always have excuses as to why they fail in survival. I'm too old. I have a bad back and knees. I live in a retirement home. I have a spouse who doesn't want to prep. Or I don't have the money to buy expensive gear. But the reality is, these are all excuses. The fact of the matter is, you can be prepared, so long as you have the willpower to prepare for the long term. So please, listen carefully. The first thing you need is a solid survival plan. This is the easy part. My master plan, that I perfected over the years and works for everyone, is to prepare in layers. I first get you ready for critical emergencies and small 3-day events. Then we move on to 3 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, and 1+ years. Get it? We focus on the things that are most likely to affect you first. Another problem I see often is people fixating on the disaster that scares them the most, such as an EMP, the dollar collapse, or martial law. Big mistake, because they remain vulnerable to every other emergency from the dozens that I've identified. That's why they don't even know what they don't know. That's why they don't have a plan, and that's why their chances of survival are slim. So the big takeaway from this presentation is this: make a plan and stick to it. Now, the second thing you should do is to be careful who you listen to. With so many blogs, forums, and everyone and their mother teaching survival, the body of knowledge is polluted with useless information that spreads like wildfire. Then you have information overload, which leads to inaction. Many folks end up trapped in the information vortex and turn into survival junkies. You can save a lot of time by simply saying no to most survival advice out there, and only follow real experts like the ones I'm about to introduce. The third and most important thing you can do is to join a prepper group. A prepper group is a community of like-minded people dedicated to helping each other out. It can be an online forum. It can be you and a couple of your neighbors who also want to prep. It's there to push you forward and make sure you don't give up or screw up. And after a while, you could be the one helping out the newbies, because teaching is actually a terrific way to learn. This is the thing that guarantees you results, and it guarantees you'll actually go through with your plans. When you talk to and make friends with other preppers, willing to listen without judging, you stop feeling alone. Remember, we're all in this together. Such a group has been on my mind for a while now, so I finally decided to go for it. One of my aha moments was when I realized I already had my own survival gang. I'm talking about my team of preppers and authors at SurvivalSullivan.com, and I'd like you to meet them. Ryan Dotson is my most experienced prepper. He knows everything from firearms to bushcraft, and is doing a few survival challenges a year, alone in the wilderness, where he pushes his body and mind to the limit. He prepares for doomsday like no one else, and even shoots videos of everything from survival gear to hunting, fitness, water purification, and primitive skills. The amount of experience and information he's willing to share is staggering. Carmen Amadori served for the Republican Party in the Maryland General Assembly and ran for the U.S. Senate in 2010. We'll tell you about the political aspects of survival and some of the surprises the government will have in place for preppers. If anyone knows what's happening in Washington and how authorities will react when disaster strikes, it's Carmen. Next we have Megan Stewart, a fantastic prepper, homesteader, and writer with a very ambitious goal. She's looking to buy a 10-acre property with her mother, her children, and a few friends, where they'll all live in complete self-sufficiency. She'll teach you about all things related to preparedness and homesteading. You'll literally feel her by your side when you read her articles and ebooks. Myra J. Ross has been an active prepper for 10 years, with Seminole and Cherokee Native American blood running through her veins. She'll show you not just how Native Americans lived and survived, but also what it's like to prepare when you're a single mom with 3 children. Jack Woods, a true hardcore survivalist. He spends most of his time in the bush, putting at least 10 miles between him and any other human being, or going about the back roads in a large RV. The only time he comes to town is when he has another one of his amazing articles for me. He'll teach you about bushcraft, wilderness, and primitive skills from the perspective of someone who not only prepares for SHTF, but someone who's already living a simple, worry-free life. Last but not least, you'll have myself, Dan Sullivan, at your service. I've been doing this for years now, and all I can say is that I can get you prepared. What I really like to focus on is the subtle details that not many people know, as well as to write articles in a very concise and easy-to-read manner. I don't like to write fluff. So here it is, my survival dream team that can help you overcome any prepping obstacle. How? By putting all our knowledge and heads together and making the only monthly membership program of its kind, My Prepper Group, now open to my most serious subscribers. It is also a complete survival archive with info given to you in a meaningful order, covering everything from the absolute basics to the most advanced tactics that will keep you alive when the world around you collapses. Whether you live alone or are part of a huge family, whether you live in Texas or Alaska, whether you're 18 or 80, we can help. Regardless of your location, climate, number of family members, or budget, we'll support you every step of the way. Our goal is to get the information and experience from our heads and into yours as fast as humanly possible. Here's just a glimpse of what you're going to get when you join My Prepper Group. My layered approach to prepping for any kind of disaster. In month 1, you get ready for small-scale emergencies and critical events. In month 2, for up to 3 weeks. Then 3 months, 6 months, a year, and so on. No more random prepping. You'll do it right this time. Every month, you get articles and PDFs that are relevant to where you're at with your preps. We'll only give you the things that you need to do and nothing else. So the only thing you need to worry about is staying focused. SHTF Water, How to Prep Under the Radar, The General Speech, Canning Authority, Run Prepper Run, and Veggie Profits are just a tiny few of the PDFs that you'll gain access to inside the program, in addition to the articles. Of course, you can print everything out for when the internet or the lights go out, or you can save them on your phone, laptop, Kindle, or on a DVD. Whenever you don't feel like reading, you can sit back and watch our monthly videos that showcase some of the most important survival concepts. Ryan has done an amazing job with them. He'll walk you around his property, and he'll take you with him in his survival challenges. Each video is 5 to 10 minutes long, short and to the point. In addition, each month you get extra materials to assist you. Action plans, Excel sheets, diagrams, checklists, even homework. Everything you could possibly need to stop procrastinating and take action. These are things you won't find in any other survival book, ever. Warning, in month 2, we're going to tackle all of the survival mistakes we talked about, and a whole lot more. Dozens of mistakes dissected in minute detail. And the only reason we're not doing it in month number 1 is because you need to focus on the critical first layer of preparedness. For the first 6 months, you'll also get a monthly PDF of the amazing Stockpile Challenge, currently selling for $39. I'm talking about food, water, tools, gear, clothes, comfort items, and much, much more. And the best part is, it works like a charm with the rest of the program, because it's also in layers. A stockpile can set you back thousands, but you can also save thousands if you do it right. Plus, I'll tell you which of these items are going to be very hard, if not impossible, to get post-collapse, or even make at home. At the right time, we're going to have a serious discussion about money. From getting out of debt, the #1 financial way to prepare for any crisis, and buying gold and silver, to making money with your survival skills, selling excess produce from your garden, and so on. Everything will be covered. To help you stay focused, I'm also going to write you regular emails to make sure you're sticking to the program, and to make sure that everything is going okay, and give you the motivation to stay on your path. Of course, you're going to find lots of drills, spread throughout the months, of course, that you can do alone or with your family to make sure you don't freeze or start crying in the face of utter chaos, but run to safety. Since the focus is on doing, I want you less in front of the computer screen and more in your backyard and the wilderness. Speaking of which, we're going to focus a lot on survival skills, from the basic ones, such as starting a fire, to those of the Native Americans and early pioneers. You're going to run circles around other preppers. That's how good you'll become. Of course, you can get access to our private forum, where you get to interact with like-minded folks such as myself, share your problems and experiences, and get no-nonsense replies that will actually help. One more thing. Each month, you're also going to get a little treat if you do your homework. One chapter of our newest and juiciest survival novel. It's a story about a family who follows my layered approach, then is put to the test when the dollar inevitably collapses and the entire United States goes under martial law. This novel is chock full of valuable lessons that will help you remember what you learn, because each chapter is designed to work with the current month's materials. And when we're done with the layers, we'll continue with dedicated focus months on all the other aspects of survival. Homesteading, free energy, weapons, wilderness survival, survival medicine, and much, much more. We'll cover everything in a meaningful order, and we're making sure you're never left behind. Can you imagine how much more progress you'll be able to make if your entire attention is geared for 30 days straight towards free electricity, or starting a garden, or raising animals? Every month you could make a giant step toward being prepared, and when you look back, you'll wonder why you haven't done this sooner. One thing I learned is, if you want to do something right, you not only have to do it yourself, but give it your full, undivided attention. All in all, we're taking you by the hand and helping you make what I call quick baby steps. Survival will finally be fun. Plus, you'll get that feeling of relief that comes when you know no one will lay a finger on your family. And the first baby step for you is to become a member of our amazing community by clicking the button below and getting access to the first month's materials within minutes. Now, you may be wondering how much it all costs. My math is telling me that to produce a single month of content, it costs me between $500 and $1,000, not to mention the website server and other monthly charges that add up. Obviously, I couldn't ask for that much, so to figure out the right price, I looked at other memberships, and although some of them are charging $497 or $397, most were below the $100 mark. $97 is still a lot of money, regardless of how valuable the information is, and although I feel it's worth at least that, I decided to put a special price on it if you join us today. Only $17 a month. This will give you access to the videos, articles, PDFs, spreadsheets, checklists, and the private forum. In a word, everything. The monthly payments will also fit nicely into your survival budget because you won't feel them in your pocket every month. The main thing to remember is that the monthly fee is fixed if you secure your spot now. If I were to raise it up to say $97, those who join today would not be affected by a future increase. This is probably the lowest it's ever going to be, by the way. All in all, every month, you get over $1,000 of structured, high-quality information, plus me and my experts at your service. And the way I see it, you only have a couple of viable options. Option number one is to do what I did. Tackle all of the free info out there head on. Make your mistakes. Do the spreadsheets from scratch. Read everything there is out there. Then try to figure out who's right. It'll take years and cost you a lot of money and frustration to do all of this. Unless disaster strikes in the meantime, that is. Or you can say an enthusiastic yes to option number two and listen to us, because we've made all the mistakes and tried everything, so you don't have to. I believe it was author and political activist Helen Keller who said, "Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much." You can follow the learning curve alone and hope disaster won't strike in the meantime, or you can shortcut it and get prepped by the books. Talking with and getting feedback from like-minded people is the fastest and quickest way to get good at anything. And from one prepper to another, I give you my word on two things. One, you can cancel your subscription at any time. Simply send me an email or click the special link you get on your email each month to initiate the refund. And two, you're backed by my 60-day personal guarantee for each and every month of the program. So not only can you stop everything with a few clicks, but you can also get your money back for the previous month if you feel my approach is not for you. If I haven't done a good job, or if you simply don't like it, you won't lose a penny and I'll go into the bush, ashamed of myself, to reflect and come up with a better product. I'm going to do this anyway. I just need you to understand how serious I am about my job as a survival teacher. By the way, you get to keep everything you paid for, so if after a year you decide you're fully prepared and want out, you can still keep everything you downloaded. So let's shake on it and get started right away. Click the yellow button below and you'll be taken to ClickBank's order form that looks like this, where you can fill in your credit card or PayPal details, hit the Pay Now button, and voila! You become the newest member of the group and receive your link to the first month's materials within minutes. If you can find a few golden nuggets each month, it's worth sticking to the program and to the wonderful community that we're growing. But the reality is, you're going to get a whole lot more. Articles, videos, spreadsheets, PDFs, and of course, the private forum. Whether you're a seasoned prepper who wants to polish his skills or someone who just sort of prepares, this is your chance to at least check this program out. Because, as I said, you can cancel at any time. So become a member of my survival group now. Okay, I see you're still on this page, so let me take a few minutes to explain how the membership works by answering the most common questions. Question: how does the membership work? You're billed once a month, starting today, after you sign up. Shortly, you'll get a link on your email with all the materials for the first month. At the same time, you'll also be subscribed to our VIP list and get an email from me every few days. Plus, you get a special link to access the private forum. 30 days from today, you will be billed a second time, then a third time after another 30 days, and so on until you cancel. Just remember that if there's a problem with your credit card, such as insufficient funds, you will get an email telling you about it, but you will not receive that month's materials until the problem is fixed. If you're looking to exit the program, there are two ways to do it. You either cancel it from the confirmation email you get from ClickBank, or you can ask for your money back for the month you've just been billed for. Since the guarantee is 60 days in length, you may also ask a refund for the previous month if you want. Question: what do I receive in return? In short, monthly articles, PDFs, videos, checklists, emails from me every few days, plus access to the VIP forum. Question: how is the program structured? The program is based on my layered approach to prepping. We first get you ready for disasters and critical events that can take up to 72 hours. In the second month, we prepare you for disasters that can affect you for up to 3 weeks. Then, month by month, we get you ready for longer and longer periods of time. Question: how does the 60-day guarantee work? Each payment has its own separate guarantee, meaning you can ask for your money back for up to 2 months. Of course, doing that will also cancel your membership. So if you join my prepper group today, you get 2 months of guarantee, even though you will be billed for month 2 30 days from today. Month 2 has its own 60-day guarantee, and so on. Question: how much time do I need to prep? The truth is you never stop prepping, but 1 hour a day should be more than enough. You'd be amazed at how much progress you'll make if you allocate a single hour every day. That's 30 hours a month, and if you let us guide you, you'll make as much progress as the average prepper in 100 hours. Question: Dan, what disaster should I prep for? The short answer is, prepare for all, but start with the ones most likely to affect you. This is why my layered approach is perfect, because it gets you to focus on the disasters and critical events that have a higher chance of happening in the near future. If you ask me, the large-scale disaster that could affect the U.S. is an economic collapse, and there are plenty of warning signs. The $20 trillion debt, the middle class going extinct, a quarter of U.S. children living on food stamps, the crisis in Venezuela, and all the stock market shenanigans that are happening on Wall Street are all clear signs that an economic meltdown can happen at any moment. So click the button below, join the most exclusive survival group in the world, and we'll see you on the other side.